welcome into Grimm's Case of Horror. My name is Grimm. This is your new haven for all things horror movie related and TV show related. Today, I'm going to be continuing my series of reviewing each season of Pretty Little Liars. I did my previous video, I reviewed seasons 1 through 3 of Pretty Little Liars. And if you want to go check that out, I'll have the link to that in the description. But today, I'm going to be reviewing season 4, the spin-off Ravenswood, which takes place at the same time as season 4, or the second half of season 4. And then I'll also be reviewing season 5. So getting right into things, Pretty Little Liars season 4 picks up immediately after the shocking events of the season 3 finale, where the liars find themselves more entangled into the web of lies and secrets surrounding Alison's disappearance. They continue to receive cryptic messages from the mysterious A, who seems to know their every move. As the season progresses, new secrets are unveiled and the liars uncover more about A, while also dealing with the personal challenges in relationships. Season 4 starts off with the girls in shock after finding out that Alison might still be alive. Yes, you heard me correctly. Well, if you watch the show, you probably already know. But they are more determined than ever to uncover the truth about A and Alison's disappearance. Each episode is packed with suspenseful moments as they uncover clues and secrets that lead them to closer to solving the mystery. This season is filled with thrilling revelations and heart-stopping moments, specifically when the ghosts discover that A is closer to them than they ever imagined. Trust is a fragile commodity in Rosewood. The liars find themselves constantly questioning who they can rely on, as even their closest allies may have hidden agendas. Aria's relationship with Ezra becomes more complicated as she discovers Ezra dated Alison before she met him, and Ezra was using Aria to write a book about Alison's disappearance, which, seeing Aria like this, it hurt, but it was needed. They finally painted Ezra as the villain that he is, even more so. Like it's already bad enough that they weren't painting him as a villain before for being a high school teacher dating his teenager student. I don't get how they thought it was okay to portray this in a show that was pandered to teenagers. Anyway, the tension between them adds such an emotional layer to the season. The girls are all on a continuous journey of self-discovery. Spencer's battle with addiction, Aria's messy relationship, Hannah's fight for her mother, and Emily's growing confidence in using her voice and sharing her thoughts are all contributing to the overarching theme of transformation. This show thrives on secrets, with each character harboring something that can change the course of their lives, like Emily stealing a key that ultimately gets her mother fired from her job, or Spencer thinking she might have killed Alison, or Hannah trying to prove her mother is innocent and didn't kill Detective Wilden. As secrets are revealed, the consequences, as usual, are terrible and life-changing. Despite the chaos and danger, though, the bond between the liars remains unbreakable. Their loyalty towards each other is tested, but they always find a way back to one another, which just highlights the strength of their friendship. Troyon's performance as Spencer is nothing short of brilliant. She portrays Spencer's intelligence and determination with subtlety, making her struggle with addiction and mental health in the season specifically touching. It just made me love this character even more. Her scenes are intense and deeply emotional this season, and they just draw you into Spencer's world and into her headspace. Ashley shines in her portrayal of Hannah's vulnerability and strength. Her emotional scenes, especially those involving her mother's arrest, are heart-wrenching. Ashley also brings this realness to Hannah's character, making her journey relatable and compelling. Lucy captures Aria's complexity with charm. Her on-screen chemistry with Ian Harding as Ezra is thrilling, but is also very sickening to watch, making their scenes together just as uncomfortable and disturbing as they always are. Lucy navigates emotional tension with skill, especially when she finds out Ezra's ulterior motives, which I hope is the last we see of this relationship. But her performance in the season is a standout. Shay Mitchell continues to shine as Emily, bringing authenticity and depth to her character's journey of self-discovery, as Emily goes from being a soft-spoken and shy girl to a direct and confident voice who is able to say how she feels to her friends when faced with confrontation, which is amazing to see. One thing that I do have a problem with Emily's storyline throughout this show is I feel like they never give her enough to do. All of her storylines seem to always deal with her relationships, and that just irks me the wrong way, in my opinion. She does have some dealing with her parents and all that, but they never seem as important as Hannah's or Aria's or Spencer's, which I feel like they could have like helped her character become more important, more to the overarching story. Like I feel like her most important storyline was in season 3 with Nate and finding out and like freeing Garrett as like suspect for Maya's murder when it was Nate. I feel like that was like the most important like, storyline that she had in her individual subplot, which is just crazy to me. That they didn't focus on her character more than they did. But Shay's portrayal of Emily's vulnerability and courage is inspiring. It makes me love her character even more in this season. The direction of season 4 was masterfully handled by Marlene King. They masterfully maintained the show's signature style of suspense and intrigue from season 1, using dramatic camera angles, atmospheric lighting, and the haunting soundtrack to enhance the tension. The pacing this season is flawless, with each episode ending with a cliffhanger that keeps you on the edge of your seat. The use of visual metaphors and symbolism adds depth to the narrative. For example, the recurring pattern of mirrors and reflections highlights the themes of identity and deception. The directors continue to use a variety of cinematic techniques like slow motion sequences and flashbacks to give you that sense of urgency and suspense. I feel like the direction in this season focused a lot more on delivering character-driven storytelling, where many of the subplots weren't just filler but had much needed and added quality, which allowed the actors to bring their characters to life in a more meaningful and independent way. Each character's arc in the season felt carefully crafted, making each of their journeys feel relatable and engaging, as much as the overarching plot. Overall, Pretty Little Liars Season 4 is a masterful blend of gripping plotlines, strong thematic elements, amazing performances, and skilled direction. This season continues to engage you with their blend of mystery, drama, and emotional depth. Whether you're a longtime fan or new to the series, this season is sure to captivate and entertain, leaving you eagerly anticipating each new revelation. And I give season 4 an A-. And I was surprised after season 3 was a little disappointing, not by much, but then season 4 turned it around for me. And after this is where I have to start getting critical about this show. And I hate to do it because I love this show so much. At least the first 4 seasons. But the next 3 seasons, I have to be honest. And like I love this show as a whole, but I have to be honest with my criticisms about the rest of the show. But first, instead of focusing on Pretty Little Liars, let's move off. Instead of focusing on Pretty Little Liars, let's spin off into Ravenswood. Now, you might not know the show ever existed, but this show is called Ravenswood, and it was the mid-season finale of season 4 was the backdoor pilot for this show. And it has 10 episodes. It's fairly short, and you can watch it on Tubi for free if you'd like, which is what I did. And so Ravenswood is a supernatural drama mystery thriller starring Tyler Blackburn as Caleb Rivers, who we know as Hannah's love interest in Pretty Little Liars. Ravenswood is the first spin-off of the show and is set in the fictional town of Ravenswood, Pennsylvania, and follows Caleb after he followed Hannah to Ravenswood in season 4 and he encounters Miranda on the bus from Rosewood to Ravenswood, Miranda being the other lead in the show. I believe she was the lead. And Miranda Collins is a foster kid searching for answers about her past. Caleb and Miranda meet other residents of the town, including twins Luke and Olivia, who are dealing with the murder of their father in the following family scandal. And then we have Remy, a journalist's daughter who is eager to learn more about the town's strange history. As they dig into the town's history, they uncover a pact made during the Civil War that resulted in a deadly curse on the town. The pact demanded that 5 teens be sacrificed to save the town during times of crisis. The current generation of teenagers discovers they are the chosen ones and must uncover the truth to break the curse before it claims their lives. The show heavily incorporates elements of the supernatural, including ghosts, curses, and unexplainable events that drive the plot forward, which back when this show came out, it was very interesting. I remember when I first saw ads for this show when I was younger, because I used to watch ABC Family, I was a huge fan of The Fosters, and that was probably like one of the first like mature shows that I watched. Besides like The Walking Dead. I believe it was The Walking Dead and The Fosters that really got me into more like mature entertainment. But I remember seeing the ad for the show and it made me interested in checking Pretty Little Liars out. So I started watching Pretty Little Liars and I think I only watched a couple episodes of Ravenswood before I stopped watching. but the supernatural theme gives this show a gothic aesthetic that I thought was really cool, and it was what drove me to watch the show. Plus, because it had a male protagonist, but this was also way before the writers started to hint towards Riverdale and Chilling Adventures of Sabrina being canon, which, if you didn't know, was a small Easter egg in Pretty Little Liars Summer School. But anyways, I thought the premise with this concept was really interesting until I watched the whole 10 episodes. And yikes. Each character from our main protagonists, Caleb and Miranda, to the supporting characters like Luke, Olivia, and Remy, all have hidden family secrets that contribute to their mystery and their personal development throughout the series, which is basically all of the development they have. Caleb and Miranda, being the leads, already have their characters developed from Pretty Little Liars, enough to already know who they are. But when we get to meet these new characters, they're all basically two-dimensional and cliche characters. Like, I believe we saw Luke in a little bit in like one scene. I believe Hannah saw him, or I forgot who. I think it was Hannah though. But Luke is the brother with anger issues and is a loner, and Olivia, on the other hand, is the former prom queen who's struggling after the death of their father. And recent events have her questioning who she can trust. And so we have the two siblings who are twins. And then we have Remy, who is Luke's girlfriend, and is the character that does most of the research and is dead set on finding out the history of the curse. And I felt like this show was very limited on character development, only having 10 episodes, which is where the show lagged for me, as Pretty Little Liars was able to have the main plot while also having multiple subplots. And Ravenswood could barely develop the main overarching plot as is. So it makes sense why these characters don't have more development. But just like Pretty Little Liars, Ravenswood has its characters facing betrayals and must learn to trust one another to survive and uncover the truth. Tyler Blackburn as Caleb brought depth to his role as he becomes a lead of his own show, which I thought was perfect since this actor, Tyler Blackburn, is talented, and I've loved his character since season 1 of Pretty Little Liars. So it makes sense to me to give him his own show, of all people. But unfortunately, having a great lead isn't what will make your show a hit, unfortunately. Or even good. And then we have Nicole Gale Anderson as Miranda Collins. Nicole's portrayal is both vulnerable and resilient, as her character is literally killed off in the pilot, and throughout the rest of the series we follow her as a ghost who only Caleb can see. Until some random thing happens, I forgot what it was, and the rest of the pack can also see Miranda out of nowhere. And I really thought Anderson and Blackburn had warm chemistry, which I even debated was closer or even better than his chemistry with Ashley Benson as Hannah. These two leads are what made me keep watching, to be honest, in the whole like goth aesthetic. We then have Brett Dyer as Luke, who delivers a subtle performance as he grapples with the murder of his father. Merritt Patterson as Olivia, who effectively portrays her struggle with her family's scandal. And then Brittany Oldford's portrayal of Remy is marked by her curious nature and bravery while facing the town's mysteries. I just feel like the three supporting actors weren't done justice enough with how their characters were developed and were just included for the plot without any substantial background development. Because that's all I can give on the characters because of how underdeveloped they truly are. Marley King, Oliver Goldstick, and Joseph Doherty brought their expertise from Pretty Little Liars to create this spin-off that maintained the same level of intrigue and mystery. And while the story was interesting, the revelations just felt poorly developed. The creators didn't know how to balance making two shows at once and put minimal effort into making the show a hit. The direction emphasized a dark atmospheric tone, utilizing the town's gothic architecture, foggy landscapes, and dim lighting to enhance the supernatural elements. But at the end of the day, that was all just a distraction from how bad this show truly was. And overall, Ravenswood, in my opinion, serves as the emo phase of the Pretty Little Liars series. As I like to call it, as many fans forget about this show or probably don't even know it exists. Yet it is still a part of the Pretty Little Liars lore, and I think it is interesting and watchable enough if you love Tyler Blackburn as Caleb and enjoy cheesy supernatural mysteries. And yeah, like this show reminded me a lot of like an emo phase where you don't like to think about it, but it's a part of it, so you accept it for what it is. Like that's what it kind of reminded me of. Like, let me know if you think of the same, like, down below. Do you picture this as, like, the emo phase of Ravenswood with, like, the gothic, dark, the goth, like, dark tone. Anyway, I give Ravenswood a C-. And next we have season 5 of Pretty Little Liars, which I like to call No Escape. And wait, I forgot to reveal why I call it season 4, which I called Pretty Little Liars season 4 Liars Unite, which I thought was fitting. Season 5 of Pretty Little Liars kicks off with the shocking return of Alison DeLaurentis, presumed dead but very much still alive. Her return shakes up Rosewood, especially the dynamic among the liars, Aria, Emily, Hanna, and Spencer. The central mystery now shifts to focus on A, the mysterious tormentor who now seems more threatening than ever. The season navigates through numerous twists like Mona, at first suspected to be A, forms an army against Alison to take her down, leading to her mysterious death. This season delves into the group's efforts to uncover the real A and understand Mona's death. After the amazing season we had with season 4, I had such high hopes that season 5 would be just as good. But man, did I feel just as betrayed as Aria. Just as usual, trust is continually tested. But now with Alison's return, it brings mistrust among the liars as Spencer has a difficult time getting used to a life dominated and possibly controlled by Alison once again. With Alison's return, Hanna struggles with her identity and individuality and is determined to remain as her own person. Aria, on the other hand, adjusts to life with Alison back and deals with the aftermath of killing Shauna. Emily shows support for Alison and is protective of her. Each character goes through significant changes. Alison tries to reintegrate her into a life that moved on without her, while the liars grapple with their personal identities among the chaos. Melissa and Spencer's rivalry is finally put to rest when Melissa reveals that she buried Bethany to protect Spencer, who was the girl that was in Alison's grave. Spencer is then arrested for Bethany's murder when the police suspect that Alison killed Bethany instead. Emily goes through 3 romances with no outcome to them, sharing a kiss with Alison after she apologized for her past behavior, but ends when Emily suspects that Alison is A. Then Paige moves to California, which I was actually excited about just because of how much I disliked her character and also the actor, to be honest. And then Talia, which ended just as quickly as it started, which seems to be a repeated thing for Emily. I said this earlier, but I wish they gave her more to do. With Hanna struggling with her identity, she gets a makeover. Her insecurities aren't helped when Caleb returns from Ravenswood with his own hidden secrets and they begin to drink, which creates a drift between her and her friends. Caleb opens up about Ravenswood, and after some filler subplots, Hanna is arrested for Mona's murder. Aria's independent plot yet again revolves around her relationship with Ezra as she struggles to get into a good college and she tries to protect Mike from Alison's trial. The bond among the liars is repeatedly tested by external threats and internal conflicts. Their resilience in maintaining their friendship is the central theme with the season, concluding in the liars all being arrested as accessories to Mona's murder, with their transport van being hijacked by A, where they are taken to the dollhouse, where we find Mona is still alive. Belisario portrays Spencer's inner conflict and determination with depth, especially as she faces false murder charges and family secrets. Ashley Benson showcases Hannah's evolution from a fashion-conscious teen to a more grounded and introspective person, dealing with identity issues and her relationship with Caleb. Shay Mitchell's performance highlights Emily's vulnerability and strength, specifically in navigating her complex feelings for Alison and her evolving identity. Lucy Hale delivers a subtle portrayal of Aria's emotional struggle, from dealing with Ezra's betrayal to coping with the consequences of Shauna's death. And then Sasha Pieters, who I believe was promoted to a lead, or I know it was a more important role, but she adds more layers to Alison, balancing her manipulative tendencies with a newfound vulnerability as she seeks acceptance and redemption. The direction of season 5 maintains a consistent tone of slow-paced suspense and drama, which I ultimately didn't like. The use of visual storytelling, moody lighting, tight framing helped to keep me engaged into the season, but for most of the season, I felt like many of the plots were just being recycled and were being reused with no creativity left. The only 2 notable episodes were the mid-season finale when Mona is murdered, and the season finale where the liars are all kidnapped and are trapped in a life-size dollhouse. Other than that, this season was near painful to sit through. Overall, Pretty Little Liars Season 5 weaves a complex narrative filled with suspense and character development, but a lot of the plots introduced felt filler and there wasn't a lot of substance to connect to the overarching plot, with some not even getting a conclusion. Like Hanna becoming a dancer and then Emily steps in to because she used to dance. That subplot, I never saw the end of that. Season 5 barely keeps you watching with its unpredictable twist and emotional storytelling, and wanting to see where the story concludes for our Pretty Little Liars. and I give season 5 a C+. And that's it for part 2 of this series of reviewing every season of Pretty Little Liars. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe if you're new to join the Grimpire, and turn post notifications on to get notified when I do post again. Because next I will have part 3, which will be seasons 6 and 7, and then also the spin-off The Perfectionists. So stick around for that, and also follow me on my socials. I'll have my Blue Sky down below in the description. I'll also have my Instagram and my TikTok since I now have TikTok again, so I'm able to post short form content again on there. And let me know what you thought about these 3 seasons down below as well. Did you like them? Did you not like them? I would really like to hear your thoughts. And also let me know some feedback. Let me know what I can work on, some constructive feedback. I also have links down below in the descriptions so that you can check out the show as well. You can also check out on Max if you like, but if you use the links down below, it'll help support me and the channel. So if you're looking forward to rewatching Pretty Little Liars or checking it out if you're new to the series, check it out down below in the description right now.